Welcome one, welcome all to Save Me Jebus, episode 10.
Oh, save me, Jebus!
And if you're new to the channel and you're wondering what Save Me Jebus is, it is a weekly podcast in which I review every single episode of The Simpsons until I'm calling out for the man himself, Jebus, to come save me from this miserable world. And I want to emphasize a bit on the podcast part of this show, because it is a podcast that is displayed over a single image of a GIF of static. And yeah, I bring this up because a few people have made the suggestion that I put video footage or try to make the show a little bit more engaging with like points to what I'm talking about, and that's great. I appreciate the suggestions and the feedback of that, but this is supposed to be a podcast, and because I'm trying to make this thing weekly, it would be just too much to try and edit an entire 20-minute show every single week, while on top of trying to make scripted content. And SMJ doesn't bring enough views as it is to make me feel like maybe I should go that extra mile. But as far as audio improvements, yeah, I'm totally game for that, because like I said, it's supposed to be a podcast. It's on YouTube though, because I mean YouTube is just easily accessible. But without further ado, let's get into the show. So, oh shoot, hold on. And I want to apologize for missing last week, because I just finished this big project that I had been working on that had been on my back burner for maybe over since March. If anyone wants to do the math, it's been since March. And I just got so sick of seeing it on my desktop, and I just wanted to get it out of the way. But yeah, we're back. and we should be fine for a while. So this week's episode is it's the episode where Homer is dancing with an exotic dancer, and there's a photograph of him that makes it onto the into the general public and eventually gets back to Marge, and Marge makes a big sniff about it, even though she almost cheated on him in the last episode. But whatever. So let's get into the episode, everyone. Okay, so this week I am not going to just, you know what, until they get rid of the pop couch gags, I'm just not gonna even mention them anymore, because I'm so sick of seeing them. It's another pop gag, it's another pop couch gag, and I don't care anymore. I thought it would be fun, but it hasn't been fun to really pay attention to them or to even mention them. So this episode opens up a little bit kind of interesting, because Marge and Homer are in the bathrooms, and Marge is asking about the office party, and Homer is weighing himself while Marge is brushing her teeth, and apparently Homer weighs 239 pounds, and he goes, "Wow, I'm a blimp. I'm going to start working out." And Marge comes and gives him a kiss and says that, no, I still love you. And Bart is looking at ads in the back of a comic book, and he orders a spy cam. Then 6 months later, Homer weighs himself again in the bathroom, and he's still 239 pounds, and he reacts the same way that he did 6 months ago. Oh man, I'm a blimp, I'm gonna start working out. And he actually starts doing some thrusts side to side. Nothing really working out-ish. Marge comes in behind him and tells him not to overextend himself, and he's like, "Oh, good idea," and he just stops. But after that, Homer tells Marge that he's not going to come home because he's going to a bachelor party. And Bart and Lisa are watching TV, and Bart gets the door. He sees the mail lady and starts going, "Lady, where's my spy camera? Lady, where's my spy camera?" And both of them start saying it together at the same time towards each other. Bart doing it like nonchalantly, like, "Lady, where's my spy camera? Lady, where's my spy camera?" And the male lady is doing it very, very aggressive, and she's like, "Every day for the past 6 months. Well, here's your spy camera." She shoves it in Bart's face, and Bart says, "Cool, thanks, ma'am," and he slams the door shut on her.
Lady, where's my spy camera? Where's my spy camera?
Every day for the last 6 months.
Where is my spy camera? Where's my spy camera? Where's my spy camera?
Here's your stupid spy camera.
Oh, thanks, man.
And Bart immediately starts taking pictures, and he gets a pic of Homer trying to work out by like bending over, and then he gets a picture of Marge shaving her underarm or her armpit. And Lisa catches Bart trying to take a picture of his butt. And right before he's about to snap the picture, Lisa and Marge come in and stop him. Marge tells the kids that, like, "Oh, we're going to go out to eat, just the 4 of them. And because Dad is going to have a boys' night out." And then once they're at the bachelor party, the dad of the bachelor is giving this really corny story about a baseball glove on Father's Day. And it's funny that this happened because I was just talking to a coworker who was telling me that he's going to be planning out a bachelor party for his cousin. And he's really bummed out because apparently the groom's dad did not get invited to the bachelor party, and now he's going, and he's really salty about it. So I have to wonder I'm wondering if my coworker's cousin's dad or his uncle is going to be the same way as the guy on this episode. I don't know. just thought it was a little funny that this really corny dad is at this bachelor party. But Carl, who has a voice actor that is not his usual one, which makes me wonder if this is the first time we actually see Carl speaking. I haven't paid enough attention, but yeah, Carl sounds different. And he's talking about how, don't worry, the entertainment will show up in a bit. And the kids are in the same restaurant as the bachelor party. And Bart orders the squid platter with extra tentacles. Bart grabs one of those like review sheets and just marks all of the services as poor, and then changes the letters around on a nearby sign for one of the specials to something. God, what was it? It was like cat eat poop or something. I don't remember. When Bart gets his platter with extra tentacles, the server is super smug about giving it to Bart. He was like, "Here's your platter with extra tentacles," with a real smug smile. And Bart gets sick just from looking at his meal that he gets up and leaves. At the bachelor party, the stripper Princess Cashmere comes out, and everyone except for the dad and the groom are super into it. The groom's dad says like, "Oh God, son, we're in hell." And gosh. So the exotic dancer calls Homer over and brings him up to dance with her. And as this is happening, Bart comes out of the bathroom and he takes a peek into the bachelor party because he doesn't know it's just a really loud room. And he sees Homer dancing with the stripper and he takes a picture. Immediately, Bart joins the photography club the next day, and he pulls out the picture of Homer, and everyone's asking for this photo, and he says no. He says no. Sorry guys. But Milhouse comes up after him and says, "Come on, Bart, like, I'm your best friend." And he's like, "Well, do you swear to never show it to anybody, not a single soul, cross your heart, hope to die, stick a needle in your eye?" And Milhouse is like, yeah. And immediately after he gets his copy, he's like, "Check this out." And so then they start making copies. One kid comes up to Bart and says, "Hey, I'm your friend too. Why don't I get a picture?" And Bart's like, "Okay." So he makes copies, and eventually they just start distributing the pictures like if there was a newspaper. One kid gets his picture confiscated from his parent, and the parent tells him like, "Why are you looking at this filth, son?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Dad." And he walks out and he's like, wait till I show the guys at work. And so from there, the pictures get spread to the adult world. And Reverend Lovejoy even gets a hold of the picture, and he recognizes the person. He's like, "Oh man, this is someone from my flock. This is Homer Simpson." And then Mr. Burns gets the picture, and he's like, what? He's like, and Smithers tells him, yeah, he's from Sector 7G, and he's like, oh man, well, bring him in tomorrow because we need to talk to him. And then Marge finally gets the picture when she sees it at her aerobics class. Immediately, she tears the picture down, and then we cut to Homer at the Quickie Mart. And people at the Quickie Mart are starting to call him out. Apu even asks if he knows him from somewhere, and Homer says something funny. He's like, sorry, bub, you have me mistaken for Fred Flintstone, which makes me wonder if that's a meta joke for the time. I don't know if the Simpsons were already that big where they were being compared to the Flintstones. Maybe they just kind of foresaw the success that they were at, or maybe they're already riding that wave. I don't know, but I thought it was interesting that Homer said that. And this kid comes up to Homer and he's like, "Hey, Mister, do 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 do," and he's doing the dance, and he's like, oh, and Homer's just completely confused by it, but he's walking out, and then like there's more people outside calling out to him doing the little wavy dance, and he's like, man, people are nuts, and then he's going home. And this car full of girls pulls up to him, and they're dancing to him, doing the same gesture. And he's like, still got it. And so he gets home, and he's walking up to the driveway, and he's like he's like whistling the do 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 do, and he opens the door, and Marge sticks the photo in his face, and she's like, what is this? What is this? What is this? And then he's like, oh my god, oh my god. And then Bart comes in, he's like, hey, my picture. And he's like, your picture. And Homer tries to strangle Bart, but before he can get his hands on Bart, Marge starts to strangle Homer. And she actually like locks fingers around his neck. But yeah. So Marge kicks Homer out and says, my suggestion is us. Because Homer says, what is it that you want me to do, Marge? And she goes, my suggestion is that you sleep in the filth you've created. And Marge hands Homer some tissues, and very dramatically she goes, if you have any soul left, then you'll need these. I know I will. And so Homer is he takes off to Moe's. And even Moe has the picture. But Barney asks him, what are you going to do? And he's like, I'll probably stay at a hotel. And Barney is like, no. You're going to come home with me. So Barney takes him home. And when he walks in, there's this window. And Homer goes up to it and tells Barney, you see that light over there? That's the light in my house, man. Somebody must have forgot to turn off the porch light. And Barney goes, oh yeah, that sure is tough. He gets on the phone and calls Marge. And he says, hey Marge, you left your porch light on. Homer's not made out of money, you know. But yeah, so the kids are wondering the next day when Dad was coming home as they're eating breakfast, and everybody stays silent. At work, Homer gets called into Burns' office, and he gets chewed out for misbehaving outside of work, because this is a family plant, and he doesn't want his actions to offend the women, because majority of plant users are women. He tells Smithers to step out, and Burns asks Homer for advice on women. He's like, I have all this power, I have all this wealth, but yet I'm a little lonely. So how do you do it, Simpson? And he's like, tell me, Simpson. Well, tell me your secret. And Homer's like, well, I don't know. I was like, Simpson, I'm asking you nicely. And he's like, I'm sorry, sir, I don't know. It's like, damn it, Simpson, tell me. And he's like, flowers, poetry, the simple stuff. And Mr. Burns was like, right. Why didn't I think of that? So Homer comes home, and the kids wish Homer luck and give him a hug. Even Maggie comes in and gives him a hug around the foot. Homer apologizes to Marge, and she goes, you don't even know why you're apologizing. He's like, yes, I do. It's because I'm tired and hungry and I smell bad. And so Marge tells Homer that she wants him to apologize to the dancer in front of Bart, because Bart idolizes him and he's teaching him bad morals. I don't know if that's actually true, because she was way more mad before she even discovered that Bart was the photographer. So I don't know. And then she was gonna cheat on Homer in the last episode, so I haven't forgot that. So Homer starts strip joint hopping, and he's trying to find the exotic dancer. All the while, Bart is trying to peep inside the bar to see if he can get any looks at the women inside. And it's funny because Homer's like asking around. He's like the people at the front, and you just see Bart kind of like fidgeting, just trying to like get a look. And at one point, Homer tells Bart, it's like, Bart, eyes on the floor. Or something. And but they finally find the dancer, and the girl's about to go on stage, and she's kind of rushing Homer. She's like so not interested in what Homer has to say. But Homer introduces her to Bart. Homer says like, well, can you tell him a little bit about yourself, just so he knows what kind of person you are? And she starts listing things off at like if it was Playboy. She's like, oh, my hobbies are this, my turn-offs are this, and my turn-ons are this. And Homer's like, okay. And while all of this is going on, the dancer was like on this cage, and it starts ascending up. And Homer is about to take off, and he's like, doesn't realize that they're lifted, and so he's like, falls, and he's like dangling onto the cage. And the dancer is like trying to kick him off. She's like, get off. Like, lady, he's dangling. But eventually he does fall, and he causes commotion while this performance is going on once the curtains open. And people recognize him as the guy from the picture, and Mr. Burns even recognizes him like, Simpson! And the singer introduces Homer as Homer Simpson, the party guy. Because at first he was really mad, but then once he realized who he was like, oh guys, this is a legend here. So the dance number continues, and Homer even gets in on it, and Mr. Burns is super jealous. He's like, how does he do it, Smithers? And Bart goes like, way to go, Dad. And Marge is apparently there for some reason. I don't know why, but she is. And Homer gives a speech, which I'm gonna go ahead and include the clip here.
Something to say to all the sons out there. To all the boys, to all the men, to all of us. It's about women. And how they are not mere objects with curves that make us crazy. No. They are our wives. They are our daughters, our sisters, our grandmas, our aunts, our nieces and nephews. Well, not our nephews. They are our mothers. And you know something, folks? As ridiculous as this sounds, I would rather feel the sweet breath of my beautiful wife on the back of my neck as I sleep than stuff dollar bills into some stranger's G-string. Am I wrong? Or am I right? My wife.
And after Homer's speech, everyone is touched. Marge finds Homer, and the two embrace. Bart kicks everyone out, and the episode ends by saying, only sick people want to see my folks kiss. And yeah, so this was episode 10. It was a pretty good episode. I think I liked it better than last week's episode, but last week's episode just was like really frustrating to watch. Marge is kind of frustrating to watch in this episode because of last week's episode. Like, I'm not gonna forget that Marge almost cheated on Homer, and I don't know. Like, it's really shitty of Marge to like get really upset that Homer went to a bachelor party and was dancing with a stripper. Well, she was actually like ready to go cheat. I don't know. Maybe it's because like she made the decision to stay with her husband. That's why it's frustrating that he goes and messes up the next week. But like, I know every episode of The Simpsons is supposed to be self-contained, so it doesn't really make sense for me to get upset. But whatever. It's not a big deal. I really liked this thing about morals and treating women more than just objects. I thought everything I think that the value or the moral of the story was very very good, and I'd like to see more of that. And the part with Mr. Burns being jealous of Homer was absolutely my favorite thing ever. Just because it's Homer, and he weighs 239 pounds and is bald, and I Mr. Burns, who has wealth, power, and access to things way beyond my comprehension, but whatever. Easily the best part of the episode. But Bart continues to be a brat as always, and that is always fantastic. I just love that Bart's character is just so consistent. They know what he is, they know what to do with him, and for that, it's a pretty good episode. I'll see you guys next week for the Creeps of Wrath, or the Creps of Wrath. A little story about Bart saves France after blowing up Principal Skinner's mom with a cherry bomb. And that is the actual description that I have for this episode, and I know that it is wrong, but I decided to read it up anyways because it just sounds so funny. I'll say it again. A little story about how Bart saves France after blowing up Principal Skinner's mom with a cherry bomb. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, ciao.